Hey, everybody, welcome back to Around the Emirates podcast with Sara Mousa, where I speak to guests from across the UAE about topics you want to hear about. Today, I am honored to be joined by the lovely Lucy Bradley. Hi, Lucy.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me on the show today. So, guys, Lucy is awesome. Not only is she founder and brand commander of Plug, which is a tactical marketing agency, she's also a very strong advocate for female empowerment. I love the fact that you started your own company. I mean, you've been in this industry for 15 plus years, and that's why I said that you are all about female empowerment. Please tell me your story and what got you started.
Okay, so I've been in Dubai for 21 years, and 17 of those have been running my agency. I don't really know why I started my own business. I think it was probably because I was pretty much unemployable. So you have no choice but to start your own business. But back then, it was very, very different. So 2007, there weren't really, there wasn't really any social media or anything like that. It was getting out there and meeting people. And that's how I grew my business over the last 17 years, through relationships and being
That is actually a
tactical.
good point. Yeah. Oh, being tactical.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that plug. I love that you immediately start off by saying kind of building your network and the relationships. I think that it's so
Yeah.
important that it's not just you as kind of a one man show. It's you have to have that team and have kind of the people behind you and the network to be able to create your brand. So what kind of focus do you have on your specific kind of company, and what kind of challenges have you faced so far?
So my focus is, as I said, is a tactical marketeer. It's something I teach as well in my master classes. But being tactical means being really targeted, being really clear who you are trying to work with, and then coming up with the marketing ideas to get them into your business. Now, those that know me quite well know that, don't get me wrong, I love social media and it has its place, but I don't truly believe, especially for small businesses, I don't really believe it does a great deal for your business in terms of marketing. I think if you are a service provider and you're looking to work with certain types of businesses, certain types of people, you have to be strategic and tactical and go out to them and bring them into your business. Do you know what I mean? It's just posting randomly and fingers crossed that they think that social and, you know, having a business and people will just naturally come to us. It doesn't work like that anymore. You have to be way more proactive, relationship building, and maintaining and constantly building relationships and moving that forward. And networking is a big part of what I do as well.
And what kind of challenges may arise from that approach?
Um, well, I think it's like everything. I truly believe in the long game. So I think people expect, it's a bit like, you expect instant gratification, instant hits, instant client, instant win. But the thought of having to do maybe 6 or 7, 8 touch points to get a meeting and bring them into your business, I think people just think, well, I sent an email, that was a waste of time. I did this and that was a waste of time. But you have to remember, with the buyer's pyramid, as I teach in my sessions, 90% of your audience are not looking to work with you or buy from you tomorrow, today, next week. So it only leaves statistically 7% open and 3% buy now. So this is why relationships and relationship building and marketing is a game of nudges. You're nudging people into your business, but I think people, especially in this part of the world, go, oh, I can't be bothered with that. I don't want to build relationships. I just want the business now. And I think that's the biggest mistake that I see with businesses today.
You make a really good point about the lack of kind of patience that there is. It's very much like they want to see instant results. They want to make sure that their brand is kind of, hitting all those KPIs. But building loyalty to a brand takes so much time and trust and credibility. It's not going to happen overnight. And a lot of the time people
Yeah.
like need to relate to your brand on a personal level as well. They need to be like, well, what's in it for me to trust into your brand. Now, as somebody with such extensive experience as yourself, is
Yeah.
there any kind
Yeah.
of moment or anecdote that you feel really helped kind of shape your experience?
Moment or and it well, I mean, for me it's all about, relationships and anecdotes. Well, what I remember, I mean, something that makes me laugh, that I think about, my biggest client is a chap called David. It's right, he won't watch this, so we can talk about him. But but I remember meeting him about 5 years ago, and I just started to do my master classes. And when you talk to a big audience and there's somebody there that's putting their hand up asking the most benign questions. And I remember thinking, who is this Wally asking these silly questions? Basically he was the chairman of a fintech. And I didn't know that at the time. And then he put his hand up again to ask a question. I was like, yeah, again, yeah, what's your stupid question this time? Anyway, and it was quite funny. And I said, sorry, you don't know what your marketing team are doing for your organization, and you are the chairman of your business. Okay. Anyway, and it was only afterwards, I saw him. He'd obviously just come out the loo when I'd finished. I went, oh, sorry about that. And he said, no, I loved it. How soon can we meet? And since then he has been my biggest client, and the one I work the hardest for. I'm only saying that in case he is listening to watching this. But my point being is, that was all about relationships. I could easily have dismissed that person as just being some Wally in the audience asking questions, and to the point of annoying. But the truth is, they really needed some marketing help. And that's the thing about relationships. And as I said, nobody wants to do it. And it's funny, I had a Zoom call with somebody who I knew would clearly be a time waster. And like I say, I haven't survived 17 years by chance. I know the ones that will work with me. I can sniff them out. And I said, I can tell you exactly where you're going wrong in this business. And you don't build relationships. Oh, yeah, we do. We do. I said, great. The last two people who paid you for your services, tell me 5 things about each of them. He barely knew their name. So I said 5 things about these people. Yes, we build relationships. So in the end, I just said, I think you're lying. And needless to say, he didn't become my client. He proceeded to waste my time. But this is it. People fool themselves that they are building relationships, but the truth is they're not. And it will only come down to relationships. We're in very challenging, saturated market conditions at the moment. And I think it will only survive by relationships and being of service. And the one thing I always say to myself about my clients is, what can I do to make them love me more? And I don't mean in a needy sort of sense, but I mean, what can I do to be of service to them? What can I help them with? So for example, I pulled together a list of all of my clients, and I've hired in London a poet who does typing to write all of them in my voice a poem for Christmas.
I love that.
So she is typing away, and she said, do you want to read them before I do it? And I went, no, no, just send them to me. But they are from the brand Commander, and there is this poet. So you kind of got to feel sorry for her, poet at night writing these messages to all of my clients, and then they're going to get couriered, and I will sign them and take all the credit for them. But I know, but the reason I'm doing it is because I know none of these clients will receive a bespoke poem by anyone else. And again, it's what can you do to keep, to keep those clients. Yeah.
That is so impressive. Like that, what I love the most about what you're doing is that you're not just teaching tactical marketing, but you're actually doing it for your own brand, your own kind of portfolio. Like for you to essentially do tactical marketing just to go that step further for your own clients, like you're practicing what you preach kind of
Yeah.
situation. And I love the fact that you're doing something that no one else thought of.
Yeah, I mean, I send telegrams, like printed telegrams to people. If anyone writes anything about me on LinkedIn, or if somebody does a post about me or anything positive, I will send them a telegram. If they contribute to something that I've written, if they write a comment that I like, I always send them a couriered telegram.
That is so cool. And that's actually kind of bridging us nicely
Yeah.
onto my final question for you today, Lucy. Obviously, you've shared such impactful words of wisdom already in the things that people can do to build those relationships and be very strategic in their approach to attracting and retaining clients. What other word of advice would you have for the listeners today?
Um, I think for me it would be, I know we've talked about it being a challenging market. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I love what I do. I really do. So I think any sort of advice would be, is that Steve Jobs quote. I always think about that, the round pegs in the square holes. And I remember my ex-husband dedicated that to me because he used to say to people, there's nobody as pushy or as out out there as my wife. And the truth is, running a business is challenging. It's also rewarding, don't get me wrong. But if you're not prepared to put yourself out there, push your brand, collaborate with people, be able to go out and network and sell what you do, I would say don't start a business because it's not easy. Don't get me wrong, it's great if you can do it, but not everyone can do it. And that's the reality. If you can't sell, if you go, oh, I hate talking about what I do, if that's already a red flag, if you go, oh, really hate going, I hate networking, I hate meeting people, again, another red flag not to do this. But if you enjoy meeting people, building relationships, being creative, collaborating, being open to standing out and open to ideas and open to a willingness to get on, hire good people to listen to those people, then great, then go for it. Otherwise, be employable and find a job. But being an entrepreneur, especially in a tough market like here, is definitely not for everyone.
I hear you. Thank you so much for sharing that really important piece of advice and just realistic piece of advice. I really appreciate you taking the time to share your story with me today.
No problem.